If you've been trying to manifest your desired reality and create this second version of you, but every few months or every few weeks you keep snapping back to that version 1.0 that you've been trying to kill, it's not because you lack discipline or you lack effort or you've been trying to do the wrong things. It's just because you've been taught to manifest in the wrong order and in the wrong way. I know exactly how you feel, not because I've read a fucking book before, but because I've experienced it in real time. And this is exactly how it shows up in your life. I'll paint the picture for you. One day you'll be sitting there, and from the moment you wake up, you'll be locked in. Everything is clicking. You feel focused. You're doing all the things that you need to do in order to achieve the things that you want from life. And in real time, you feel like you've manifested or are manifesting your desired reality. And then one day you wake up and it's not the same thing. You feel like you want to doom scroll for 2 hours. You don't have the motivation to do anything. And you feel this incredible sense of friction between who you wanted to become and who you feel like you are right now. You have those old self-doubts, those old thoughts that kept you stuck, and you sit there and think to yourself in the moment, I thought I changed. Why is this happening to me again? Now, I'm going to be extremely blunt about this, and I want you to internalize it in a way that you haven't internalized many things before. You are not inconsistent. You are not broken. You are not lacking in willpower to actually want the things that you do want to achieve. You've just been trying to change the output of your reality without changing the fundamental structure at its core, which is your mind and the self-concept. Now, imagine your mind is like a house, and 95% of what is holding up the house is the foundation, the concrete below the walls and the roof and the rooms and all of that stuff. And that 95%, that foundation is the old version of you, the version of you that you've been trying to kill all this time to become this new version. But what you've done through your manifestation techniques that you've learned, through your positive affirmations, through your visualizations, through your meditations, whatever you've been doing, all of that has just been trying to build a new house or trying to build a new building like the one behind me on a foundation that is fundamentally cracked and flawed. And so ask yourself honestly, do you truly believe that if you were to build a house on a fundamentally cracked foundation, that that house could ever sustain any storms or anything that would be thrown at it that would question its structure? Obviously not. And that means that underneath everything that you're doing, the old layer and the old foundation of who you used to be, that version of you that you want to kill, is still running the show 95% of the time. And until you understand what I'm about to describe to you in the next couple of minutes, you're going to always snap back to that old version. Your brain, the incredible mechanism that it is, constructs reality as you perceive it as an individual through a 3-part sequence. It starts with beliefs, then it's perception, and then it's emotion. And you'll notice that I started with beliefs. So if you don't change the core, the fundamental beliefs that you hold, the other two will never follow suit in a consistent way. They will always collapse. So let's cover your beliefs. Your beliefs are the foundation of everything you believe to be true about the world. And I don't mean what you say you believe to be true when you have conversations with your girlfriend or your parents and you got to put on this mask about what you believe to be true about society and all this bullshit. I mean what you subconsciously accept as fundamental universal laws and truths. Now, most of these were built and printed onto you before you could even consciously accept them or even question them for that matter, and they now run autonomously and automatically. They influence the way you think, they influence the way you act, they influence the way that you react, oftentimes before you even realize that it's happening. And 95% of your decisions will come from this place. Not what you intend to do or not what you want to do consciously, but what your mind subconsciously believes to be true that will influence how you live your entire life. So if you do not change this layer, you will remain stuck. Now, the second layer is perception, which is where things get uncomfortable, because you might think that your brain records or experiences reality the same as everybody else, but that isn't true whatsoever. It actually predicts it based on whatever belief system exists underneath. Our brains are so fundamentally complex and we have so many pieces of information that we need to process on a day-by-day basis that if you genuinely believe that you are processing each one of these things and your brain isn't using your beliefs as a predictive mechanism, that would be so naive of you to think. If you consciously processed everything that you thought about on a day-to-day basis, your brain would explode. And this prediction mechanism that influences our perception of reality is the exact reason that two people can go through the exact same situation and perceive it in 100% different ways. Perception is not a neutral thing, it's built. And the final pillar is emotion, which is the most important and unfortunately where most people start instead of where most people end. Because the manifestation techniques they're told is feel it, embody it, visualize it strongly and it will become true. All for the purpose of feeling the emotion in real time. And yeah, I mean it works temporarily because you're gonna feel confident, you're gonna feel this sense of abundance, and you're gonna feel like these things that you want are already yours. But what happens when something comes to topple down this fragile belief system or these fragile emotions that you've tried to replace? It fails and you revert back to that person that you've been trying to remove yourself from for the longest time. It's exactly why you keep slingshotting back and forth through these identities, because emotion is never the starting point. Emotion is the end point after you've done the structural foundational work to remove all of the existing beliefs you had that were keeping you in a flawed identity. You cannot sustain an emotion that your internal belief system at its core, subconsciously, does not support. So what's actually happening is you will generate an emotion, you will feel aligned, and you will feel like you're in this new identity for a moment. It will feel real, but then eventually your old belief will kick back in, your perception will shift back to that belief, and then your emotions will follow, therefore dictating you back into this undesired reality. Not because you failed necessarily, but because you never changed the foundation. I was speaking with one of my clients last week, and he said that the Tuesday he was on top of the world, and that on the Wednesday morning he opened up his phone on Instagram and saw one of his competitors post a testimonial of a client win. Now, 24 hours before, like I said, he felt as though he was on top of the world, and now all of a sudden, just because of this neutral external event, his belief system kicked back into, oh, I'm behind this person, I'm not enough for this type of work, and then his perception changed completely, it ruined his fucking day, and then he went back into this reality or this identity that he had told himself he wanted to remove, or that he had removed, because he never structurally went to the core. So if you genuinely want to change your identity and manifest your desired reality, you need to stop starting at the emotion and stop trying to visualize and manifest these emotions. You need to start first at the core beliefs, the identity that is running everything underneath, not these surface level affirmations you keep telling yourself are true. Second, you don't cover it up. You question its authority, and then when you realize that it has no business being there, that is when you can truly make a change. And third, you actually replace it with something that serves you in this new version or this new life chapter. And when you do this, as a result, your perception will change, your emotion will change, and your reality will change. And then you visualize, and now when you feel it, it will actually stick. It will become an object of permanence, because the foundation work that you've done and the foundational beliefs you have actually support it. When you do this, manifestation work stops feeling forced, it stops feeling temporary, it starts feeling like it's, the exact thing that you needed, and it actually allows you to manifest in real time your desired reality and become this version 2.0 of yourself permanently. I sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. I love speaking about this stuff. I went through my own journey of coming to all of these same conclusions that I hope I'm going to be able to provide to you. If you want to see more of the same content on manifestation, the mind, our universe, what we believe to be true about everything as it relates to the mind, then feel free to head to my Instagram or check out more videos on my channel. Thank you so much for watching.